All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to deal with manufacturers and the whole manufacturing process for your t-shirt and clothing company. This can be a very tricky subject because there's so many different companies, and I've heard so many different horror stories about people working with manufacturers and they just get burned, they don't deliver on what they promise, and it can be a nightmare during this whole process. But what I wanted to do in this video is just kind of boil it down, break down the process of how it works, talk about contract decorators. We'll break down the terms and what everything means, how to work with contract decorators, wholesale manufacturers, distribution centers, and then also how to just kind of create a pre-production checklist to make sure that when you do go to these manufacturers, you have everything in order that you need to make the experience as streamlined as possible. Now, some of you guys may be looking for manufacturers, and later on in this video, I'm going to talk about how we put together a list of some of our top tier vendors, from accessories, labels, contract decorators, wholesale, garments, custom headwear, put together basically a curated list of all of our vendors that we use and that we've partnered with for the last 10 years. So more details on that coming up. So the first thing that I want to talk about is kind of how the whole process works, right? So kind of demystifying the process of, thinking that sometimes people think that they have to get all their garments cut and sew, right? And they have to get their, custom blanks and custom t-shirts and custom hoodies and stuff like that. Well, I'm here to tell you a lot of the brands that you like, a lot of the brands that you follow use pre-existing blanks. Now, some of you guys may already know this, but they have these companies called wholesale distributors. And wholesale distributors, basically what they do is they have multiple different brands. So say Bella Canvas or American Apparel or Gildan or Fruit of the Loom, some of your most popular brands. And they sell pre-constructed garments that you can essentially customize, right? So you could have removable neck labels so you can tear away the tags and screen print your own custom labels in there, or sew in your own custom woven labels. They have different garments from joggers, hoodies, sweatpants, t-shirts, long sleeve, girl t-shirts, kid shirts, you name it. There are wholesale distributors that sell these blank garments, so you don't have to have these high minimums and get your custom garment constructed. Now, of course, there are drawbacks with that. You're limited on inventory and what they have. A lot of these wholesale distributors and companies usually have like really, really high amounts of inventory. So depending on the style, if it's a really, really popular style or color, you should be good in terms of inventory. But you're limited on the custom fit of what you can do, right? So you're limited to the custom blank that they already make, the pre-existing garment, right? You can't really do too many alterations. You can do custom screen printing, or maybe you want a tie-dye shirt, or maybe you want to sew on a patch or things of that nature. But in terms of the actual construction of the garment, you're limited to what that company has put together. Now, the good thing about this is they have really low minimums. Some of these wholesale distributors, you can order 12 pieces, you can order 6 pieces, you can order 32, 72 pieces, so you don't have to do these high minimums. And so what I recommend for people that are just starting out, that are getting into the clothing game, and more specifically screen printing, embroidery, that not the cut and sew pieces, but you want to start, say, a t-shirt brand, and you want to sell maybe some hoodies, joggers, hats, kind of like a whole kind of streetwear line, right? Working with these wholesale distributors to be able to purchase your blank garments, and then working with contract decorators to customize your product, right? So contract decorators are pretty much just contract screen printers and embroiders. You have difference between screen printing shops and embroiders and contract decorators and kind of retail decorators, right? So you have the custom inks of the world that are like direct to consumer, right? So they're going after your little league teams, they're going after family reunions, they're going after the end consumer. So basically you purchase the shirt and you are the end consumer of that product or whatever it is. Contract decorators, on the other hand, are essentially selling to wholesalers. So they sell to wholesale brokers that broker stuff with different companies, right? So maybe they're playing middleman, and they are going to a screen printing shop, and then they bring it to a company and they resell it. Or clothing companies that basically purchase it at a wholesale price to be able to then sell it retail to the end consumer. So contract decorators are very, very important in this whole process of starting your brand, because most of the time, generally all the time, they're cheaper prices. They're more flexible on what they can do as far as customizations, packaging, trims, labels, neck tag, things of that nature. So essentially you purchase from these wholesale distributors, send it to your contract decorators, they do the embellishments, they put it all together, and then they ship you the product. Some of these manufacturers and contract decorators have fulfillment centers where they can actually ship directly to your customers. So they do it's kind of like a one-stop shop. Those are kind of hard to find depending on what the like good ones that actually can ship out to your customers. The industry is going that way, where a lot of people need that. There's so many services of like, hey, I can't put all of my shirts in my room. I'm getting tired of, storing everything in my room and shipping it out on my own. So a lot of these contract decorators are learning, hey, we got to get into this game of being able to offer these services to be able to ship out to the end consumer, your customer. And there's ways to integrate with that. And like I said, later on, we're going to talk about our vendor list and how we put it together and how you can find some of these, pre-vetted vendors that are really good to work with. So as you start going through finding these contract decorators, you want to make sure that, number one, these are reputable companies, something that is really good to just ask questions of like, hey, what brands do you work with? What kind of clients do you work with? That's going to be really important because a lot of these contract decorators specifically work with brokers that sell to other companies. So they're going to be limited on their capabilities, right? They're not going to maybe be able to do custom neck labels, or they may not be able to do, custom woven labels at the bottom or custom woven labels in the neck tag area. So you want to ask them what kind of clients do you work with, right? That's going to be very, very important in terms of as you go to finding a good contract decorating shop that can help, build with your clothing brand. You want to make sure that you go to somebody that specifically works with clothing brands, because then they're going to be able to understand, oh, I want kind of like a really nice fashion, soft, hand feel of the print, or I want these custom labels or packaging. They're more flexible in terms of working with retail brands instead of just, printing tech company shirts with their logo on it and selling it like that. A lot of these companies just specifically work with those clients. So you want to just make sure that the client or the shop, the manufacturer that you're working with is able to accommodate your needs as you grow with the brand. Another thing is just asking their capabilities. Like, what can you do? Can you do foil printing? Can you do relabeling? Can you do, tags? Which kind of goes back to that first point that I just made of just who is your clientele. You really, really want to make sure that this partner is going to be a right fit for you. Now, I put together kind of a pre-production checklist as you're starting to think and as you're starting to work with these manufacturers and these factories to make the process as smooth as possible, right? So with us, for instance, we had our manufacturing facility for a really, really long time, and we worked with companies like, Pink Dolphin and Nike and a bunch of these different brands that were just starting and growing, and then some that were like really, really big. So we kind of got to see the entire process in terms of how little brands send their information versus how these large brands send their information and all the details that kind of go into it. So just coming from a manufacturing perspective and understanding the front end of how, clothing companies work and the details that you need, but then also the manufacturer's perspective of what makes the job easy to make sure that it's just a seamless process and you get the cheapest rate, you're able to just maximize that relationship. So I broke it down into just basically 8 simple steps of what you need for your pre-production checklist. So number one is make sure that you have finalized artwork. This is the number one thing that brands run into, is just not having the correct artwork, right? You want to make sure that you either have a vector file, and I'm not going to go into too much detail of what that is. You can look up what a vector file is. Just make sure that you have original artwork, whether that's the PDF, whether that's the AI. If you do have an AI file that you're sending to your manufacturers, make sure to convert everything into outlines. Basically what that does is allows you to embed the entire artwork, so the person that you're working with, the manufacturer, doesn't have to go and download all these different fonts and things of that nature. Everything is already ready to go and embedded into that file. So make sure everything is created to outlines. Make sure that you get the highest quality artwork that you can. So if you are using a picture, if you are using a JPEG, the higher resolution the file and the artwork, the better the print is going to come out, right? It's going to translate, right? If you have a super small image that's super pixelated, when you zoom in, it's going to translate like that when they zoom, when they put it on screens to put on your t-shirt. So just make sure to think about, you want to have the best artwork there is, possible to be able to give them. The better artwork you have to give to them, the better the output it is in the end result. My dad used to always say, he's a musician, so he always said garbage in, garbage out, meaning that if the mic and all the stuff is coming in wrong, it's going to come out wrong. So just making sure that you provide them with all the artwork and all the finalized artwork is going to be key. Number 2 is your tech packs. Your tech packs are going to be super, 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 super important. Your tech packs include the artwork, the placement of where it's going on the garment, how far it's going from the collar, how wide it is, what are the Pantone colors, what are the neck labels, what is the artwork, any special call outs if you're using specialty inks or specialty printings. The tech pack is basically the blueprint of your garment and how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to appear. So make sure those tech packs you think of every single thing and you put all the details into that tech pack, because the better you're able to translate it to the manufacturer, the better they're able to take it and bring it into reality and make sure it's exactly what you want. The third thing is your garment details, right? You want to add what type of garment you're using. We've ran into so many issues where we're thinking it's 100% cotton garments that the client is sending us, right, on the manufacturing perspective. But then when we get it, it's a polyester blend, or it's 100% polyester, or it's a tri-blend. Each blend of t-shirt and fabric has different ways of the printing process that has to happen, right? So for polyester, there's certain additives or certain ink that you have to use for the polyester so it doesn't bleed and so it adheres to that polyester fabric. So just make sure that you add the garment details in there. That's a super minor detail that I see a lot of people overlooking, where they don't add what type of blend the garment is or what brand and style of garment that they're using. It just helps the manufacturing process go by so much smoother and easier, and you won't have any hidden costs later on down the road, right? You think it's 100% cotton, they quote you for 100% cotton, and then boom, it pops up a 20 cents, per unit charge for polyester ink, and you didn't account for that. So make sure you add the garment details. The next thing, number 4, is the sizing breakdowns, right? This is pretty obvious. This goes kind of on your tech packs or your purchase order that you send over to them. Just make sure you have the sizing breakdowns, right? 10 small, 12 medium, 12 large, 12 extra large, whatever it is. Sizing breakdowns helps per color. So you want to set it up per color, per size, per style. And you want to make sure that your tech pack, so say if you have a collection of 4 designs, you want to create a specific tech pack per design, right? So you want to make sure that each tech pack matches that design and reflects to that design, plus adding the garment details for that design. Maybe one design has 100% cotton, maybe one design has an all natural, eco fabric or something like that, and one has a polyester. So just make sure each design has its own tech pack. Number 5 is your finishings, right? Your finishings are labels, tags, trims, woven labels, packaging, size stickers. If you have any special instructions of hang tags or anything like that, those are all kind of the finishings. Basically, it's like after the product is printed, what goes on top of it and what's like the finishing, the last touches of all that stuff. So make sure to add that in there ahead of time. These are just, again, details that I'm pretty sure if you're in the business or this is stuff that you already add, but it's just really good to hear it again and have like an actual checklist of like, okay, cool, I have all this stuff and I'm ready to move on to the next phase. Number 6, shipping information, right? I know this is basic, but this sometimes gets overlooked because you'll be able to get estimates on shipping, right? A lot of times people will send us the stuff and they'll forget to add the shipping details and information. Then it's just another email that we have to say, okay, where is this shipping to? And then they have to send it back. So just make sure this is really good to kind of just send ahead of time and make sure that you have all this stuff. Again, this is just going to save you time, save you headache, save you back and forth when you have all this stuff and you can send it out. The faster you can get them everything, the faster you can get back your quote, the quicker you can get in production, the quicker you can get your products. Number 7 is in-hands date, right? That's another thing where some people will leave out their in-hands date that they need it for a specific event or they need it for something and the vendor doesn't know. And then as they go into production, it's like, oh, hey, when are you shipping? And it's like, oh, we're shipping in 2 weeks. Oh, I need it in a week. Just make sure ahead of time you let them know, you let the manufacturer know when is your in-hands date, when you need it by, so they can tell you if it's realistic or not. They can tell you if there's any upcharges, if there's any rush fees, if there's any expedited shipping fees. In-hands date is really, really important. And then number 8 is just special instructions, right? If you have something that, say there's a specialty print, say you want to do puff print or you want to do glow in the dark or you want to do, you want to have it off to the side. All these should be in your tech packs anyways. But any special instructions about your project, any little details that you might want to add in there, make sure that you have it in there. You don't, bring that in last minute after everything is all said and done. And then you're like, oh, well, I want to do this, this, and this. Sometimes that's going to happen. It's just the nature of the game. But you want to make sure ahead of time you have all the special instructions and have it all done. So as a recap, number 1, finalize artwork. Make sure that artwork is good. Number 2, having your tech packs ready to go. Number 3, your garment details. Number 4, your sizing breakdowns. Number 5, all of your finishings. Number 6, shipping information. Number 7, in-hands date. And number 8, special instructions. And I'm going to list it in a description or below so you'll be able to see all the stuff to have like a recap of what it is. But I wanted to make this video to kind of talk about that and what you should have and just trying to make your process with going through manufacturing as smooth as possible. And again, this is just my experience of being on the back end side of like really doing the production and the manufacturing and the front end of actually having a brand and working with vendors and stuff like that. So that brings us to this vendor list that I was telling you about. So over the past 10 years, we have done a lot of production in-house in our own in-house manufacturing facility, but then we've also partnered with other vendors that allowed us to be able to scale, that could do stuff that was out of our kind of wheelhouse, right? Whether that was specialty printing, whether that was embroidery, whether that was cut and sew hats, whether that was accessories. Just as we started building out, we've worked with so many different vendors over the years to help with our client stuff. I'm talking about from like Nike and Starbucks and some of these big clients to small independent clothing brands as well. And we've worked and built some really, really good relationships over the past 10, 15 years with vendors that have been kind of like industry leaders and been able to help us with turning these projects into reality, whether that was small boutique kind of custom projects or that was large scale, national projects that we rolled out. So we wanted to put together this list called Industry Secrets. Now, this industry secrets is over 25 pre-vetted vendors and manufacturers. So we kind of broke it up into manufacturers, vendors, and software. So manufacturers these are direct manufacturing contacts. So these are screen printing shops, contracting screen printing shops, custom headwear, cut and sew, accessories, different things of that nature, actually places that create products, right? You have an idea and they actually create it. Then we broke it down into vendors. So vendors are like your wholesale blank garments, where to get the best wholesale blank garments, where to get different software, different things of that nature. Vendors that have like kind of pre-made things done that you can purchase. Then we broke it down into software, right? Software's what has helped us over the years kind of turn our ideas into reality, right? Like with technology now, when we first started in 2005, technology was not where it is today. And so there's been so many things now that has helped us be able to scale and be able to like grow our business. And some of these softwares are free, right? And then some of them are really inexpensive in order to help grow and establish and build your brand. So we wanted to break it up and put it into 3 kind of divisions. And then we also broke it up into categories. So we have basically 9 different categories that we broke it down in this vendor list. So category 1 is custom headwear, where to get custom cut and sew headwear, where to get blank headwear made, and like hats, beanies, any kind of headwear, from if you want to go completely custom and pick your own fabric and trims and buttons and inside taping and all of that, or if you want to just find blank hats that you can embroidery and sew your stuff on. Then we have wholesale blank garments. This is basically wholesale distributors, kind of what I told you of where to find these wholesale blank garments that you can purchase, and then work with your contract decorators to be able to customize those products. Then we have accessories, right? We have a contact with this accessory company that you can't just Google and find. This is something that you have to know somebody that's in the industry to be able to get the resource to this company. Now, this company has been around for a really, really long time, and they do accessories for like some of the biggest brands that you for sure know, from slides to keychains to rugs to lanyards to custom backpacks to custom tote bags, custom clocks. I mean, you name it, they can create this. And as brands are scaling out now, and you're probably starting to see that it's not just t-shirts and garments, it's a lot of these accessory stuff that are doing really well, these different collaborations and stuff. So we have a really, really cool accessory vendor. Then we have labels, tags, and trim. So those finishings that I was talking about, where to get custom labels, where to get chenille patches, where to get hang tags, woven tags, all of the tags, finishing, buttons, custom, all the finishings. We have some companies and some vendors that we've worked with for a really, really long time that have been super great partners. Some of them have really low minimums, and it's a really easy process to kind of take your brand and elevate it to the next level. Next, we have custom packaging. So we have a couple options for custom packaging. We have a really straight out of the box solution where you can do small minimums, but it really helps with your presentation of your brand, whether it's like shipping boxes or whatever it is, just to enhance that experience, right? It's all about the experience. Then we have like really, really custom partner that we do that works with like Nike, Apple, all of these high premium, Kylie Jenner's, influencer packaging. They're the ones that's doing our custom packaging for our brand right now, for our influencer packaging. So they do like spot UV. They could do basically anything. They do all the stuff for GoPro, any type of retail high-end packaging, bags and all of that stuff. This is the place to go. I mean, they are the industry leading company that deals with like packaging and stuff like that. Then we have contract decorators. So this is kind of what I talked about. We put a list of contract decorators, all these ones that we use personally. These are our top tier 1 vendors that we use. This is very valuable information in terms of who we've worked with. We've worked with so many different screen printing shops and embroidery shops, and we've been working with these vendors for the last almost 10 plus years. And so we know that we pre-vetted them, right? We've worked with them over the years. They can do our stuff. They can handle the volume. They can handle building out the stuff. So these contract decorators are phenomenal partners to work with, and it can be something that can help you, build your brand. Next, we have fulfillment. So we broke up fulfillment into a fulfillment house, distribution. So say your brand has grown and scaled and you want to find a partner that can ship it out to your customers directly. And then also supplies, where you can get shipping supplies if you want to do it in-house and internal. Then we have software. Like I said, the software breaks down all the stuff that we use internally for our brand and for our agency, of what we've been able to scale and how it's been able to grow our brand and grow our business. And then we have some miscellaneous stuff, right? So the miscellaneous is basically just different things that I think would be super helpful for you that are as you start to grow and build your brand. So this list is super, super dope. It took the team and I a really long time to kind of curate this and put this together. It's been something we've been working on for the last few months. I think it's going to be super valuable for you guys in terms of how it all works. And basically what happens is you purchase the pre-vetted vendor list, right? And how it works is you get direct contact information to all these vendors and manufacturers. So you work with them directly. You don't go through us. There's no middlemen. You work directly with that. We're just introducing you to the actual vendors. Then you get a list of all their services. So you'll have all their services and what their capabilities and what they can do. We broke it down into an online portal and dashboard to make it super easy and convenient. Put it in categories. Each category has a different vendor with all the information. And then I made a video for each vendor explaining how we work with them, how you can utilize them, work with them, and just kind of like pros and cons or do's and don'ts or like best practices, things of that nature, just to kind of like add even more value and give you context to each vendor and manufacturer. And then we added some of the stuff. So for some of the vendors, we have price lists, we have catalogs, we have color codes, any relevant information for that, templates. For custom headwear, we have like templates and fabric swatches, stuff that you can download, the whole nine of like everything that it is that you need. And then also information on how to set up accounts with them. So whether you want to set up a wholesale account or whatever the case may be. There's also some additional resources in there for those of you guys that will need it, where we do a brand strategy session through our agency. So that'll be something that you'll be able to apply for. We're going to really limit those of how many we offer and how many of those that we roll out through our agency Curio, basically helping you, kind of a one-on-one guide and strategy session to help build out a plan for your brand. Then we have the brand launch package and a couple other additional resources in there as you start going through it. So this is something that's super, super dope. I'm really excited about this rollout. I think it's something that is going to provide the people that need it so much value. Again, all of this content here on YouTube, you're going to get absolutely for free. I'm giving you all of my best secrets, all the stuff that I've learned. I'm going to take you guys along with me during this whole journey and process. This is something that we wanted to put together for those of you that needed that extra support in terms of finding those right partners and manufacturers and stuff like that, and kind of demystifying it. Again, this is taking us over 10, 15 years to be able to build a relationship with these partners, make sure that it works, make sure that these are super valuable. These are partners and companies that you can grow with, that can help you grow and scale your brand as you grow up. So super excited about Industry Secrets. If you want to sign up, if it's something that you're interested in, the link is in the description below. You can go ahead and click on that, learn more, see all the description of what's involved in the Industry Secrets. But yeah, I'm super excited to continue this content. I'm super excited and looking forward to going into next year and being able to grow this content out. We are almost at 10,000 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. I really appreciate all of you guys watching and all the likes and comments and shares. If this video brought you any value, please hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Turn on the bell notifications. I am trying to invest. The team and I are trying to invest in like these videos and stuff. I invested into a new kind of YouTube setup and new camera, lenses, lights, and stuff like that. I just want to make sure that this content is super valuable. And it's something that I wish I had, right? I really want to put out content that I wish I had coming up. And, super excited to, hear your guys' feedback. Leave some comments. Let me know if it's something that you guys want to see. And so, yeah, until next time, I really appreciate everything that you guys do. And have a great week. And I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.